Hi, friends. This is Shilpa Mana Bhatnagar, founder of Heva, as you can see on this lovely background which my team has put together for all of you. Today, we have come to talk about, as you can see from our logo, we've come to talk about petty cash payments. So you must be thinking, what is petty cash? And as the name suggests, petty cash is very small sachet expenses in your businesses that are done for execution of day-to-day businesses in your business. Now, let's take an example. The first and the foremost example I would like to take is that suppose you have a business where you have a real estate organization and a lot of your teammates go for various kinds of deployments at sites, right? So when they go on site, they have to do very small expenses. Now, what are those small expenses? Those small expenses are, for example, they would like to, you know, go for travel. Suppose there is for the execution of the work there is something that has finished and they have to go to a nearby store to buy that raw material for so that the project can be executed flawlessly. Those are the kind of expenses which are known as petty cash expenses. It is a very important cost center in any of your P&Ls. And there are certain very surprising facts about petty cash that I'm going to talk about as a part of this webinar. Now, let's talk about why we are collected here to talk about petty cash expenses. What we have noticed in our businesses, in our day to day businesses, is that 2%, and it's a very, very important and it's a very, very nice fact that I came to know when I started working in the petty cash domain. The first and foremost thing is that 2% of the total turnover of any business goes into petty cash expenses. Now, this was a very, very surprising fact for me. Suppose you have a 50 crore turnover organization. Imagine 2% of that money goes into petty cash expenses. Now, how is it executed today? How is petty cash managed in today's times? Petty cash is managed in today's time through two, three methods. Number one method is advance or cash. Real physical money is used to address the need for petty cash payments. How it works is you have a business, you have employees. These employees need money to do the expenses. You tell them that you have to do out of pocket for organizational needs. You have to do out of pocket for organizational needs. And then you have to submit an Excel in which it has, the entire reconciliation of the expenses they have done for your company along with the evidence saying justifying each and every row in that Excel. Now imagine how traumatic is it for an employee. Number one, he or she did that expense from their own pocket, and that too for your project. Number two, they had to keep a tab of all those things in an Excel. Number three, they had to very carefully take care of all their bills and imagine the trauma they go through when they lose a bill or a voucher or whatever. Now, this kind of trauma in an employee's life becomes the cause of leakage, becomes the cause of semi corruption, which he or she does not intend to do but ends up doing. Why? Because they're going to make a forged bill or something, try to get another bill, and just so that they get their money back at the end of month every month. Now, this is one piece. This is the employee's perspective. The second perspective is the project manager. Project manager, poor person, has to go through that entire Excel, validate all the bills, make sure that all those bills are taken care of, are matching to those transactions that has happened, and then kind of approve or reject to an employee. So what a person like you and me would do? A project manager who's so busy in day-to-day work for the execution of a project, what would they do? They would simply ignore certain things and approve it very, very frequently, just like that, because it's a lot of effort. And even if they put that effort, do you really think that it is not subject to human error? It is. And what does this cause? This causes revenue leakage and hence a big hole in the pocket of the business owner. But still, the business owner kind of ignores this. And why does he or she ignores it? Because he or she feels that petty cash problems are petty. छोटे छोटे खर्चे हैं, कोई बात नहीं, होने दो, because I have to focus on the bigger things. Now, when we did an analysis, what we found out was that 50% of the revenue leakage that happens in petty cash expenses are happening because of the fact that the bills are not properly uploaded or multiple claims are done on a single voucher. Now you must be thinking that, oh my God, this petty cash story is not so petty. There are so many big problems in this domain, and we haven't even thought about how we are going to solve them. And some of you must be thinking, oh no, we are a very, very tightly coupled organization, and we take care of things very fast and there is no leakage. But trust me, today, after this conversation, when you go back as a business owner or as a person or the project manager or an employee, go through all those Excel sheets that are being submitted to the organizations, and you will come to know that all the problems that I have mentioned are serious issues and they need to be dealt with. Now, why am I talking about it here? The reason I'm talking about it here is that I, as a business owner, as an employee, as a project manager, has faced all these issues in my day-to-day lives. And hence, I started looking for a solution for solving this problem. And to my surprise, there was not even a single solution who could address this problem very, very efficiently. There were a lot of solutions who could handle it, but in bits and pieces. And we call it a piecemeal strategy. That kind of created more inertia in my teams to adopt a new solution. This led us to build Heva. Heva is a petty cash payments and management solution which enables you to do payments as well as reconciliation on a single platform in a same workflow. Now, what does that mean? So, suppose you have Heva as an employee, you don't need to do anything. A pool of money is available to all your team members. You just need to go to a supplier, pay through Heva, upload the bill, and there itself you can see that an automatically, just at a click of a button, an Excel is generated which has all your transaction, has the all your supporting bills, and is available to be shared on even WhatsApp with your accounts team. So seamless, so simple. Now imagine as a project manager who's using Heva, just go to the transaction and download the transactions for your entire team just at a tap of a single button. It has all the information. Close your eyes and share it with your finance department. The business owner, since there is a single movable pool of money, the money is not blocked with anybody. You give an advance to one project manager, and the other project manager is struggling because he or she is finished with that money. Now, what to do? Go back to the finance team for more. Go back to the finance manager for more updates. Yes. So that's what Heva solves. Single pool of money available for all the team members through a nice interface, and the business owners are very happy because with the limited constrained resources, they are able to handle all the petty cash needs in their organizations. So, if you're looking for a great solution for petty cash, first of all, don't be in denial. You are facing petty cash problems. Second of all, don't go anywhere to look for a solution. Heva will take care of it. Download Heva, experience it 1 month free trial, and then let us know whether your petty cash problems have been solved or not. So I'm open for questions now, and I can see a lot of questions that has been given by the teammates, and I'm going to take them one on one based on the way they have come on my screen. So, a question by Irfan. Irfan, you've asked what are some of the common challenges that businesses face when managing petty cash, and I think I touched upon that. There are three main challenges that they face. One is convenience. They want convenience, availability of funds for their employees. Second is transparency. They really need to know where the information is available, or the where the money is actually gone, and is it being properly booked or not. And second, third, and the most important is revenue leakage, and that all these three things are handled by Hiva very, very appropriately. Next question is by Rohit. Rohit, very nice question. How should businesses replenish their petty cash fund? So, in case you're using the classical methods of petty cash, it has to be replenished as advance payments. It is also known as impressed in the language of accounting, and it has to be given as an advance payment for to a person of trust or a person of authority, and then he or she is responsible for reimbursing, or he or she is responsible for distributing it accurately within the team. However, when you are using Heva, it is very simple to add funds. You are just given a virtual account, and you just need to do a fund transfer to the virtual account for the need of replenishing the fund in the petty cash. Yes, we have a very, very interesting question by Harsh Prasad. What are some of the common mistakes that businesses make them when managing petty cash? There's only one mistake they do. They don't use Heva. Okay, jokes apart. Important thing that they do is they generally business do not go for automation for petty cash in terms of using technology, because they believe that it is not an area which should be automated. And hence, the key takeaway to this question is that it is important that you go deep dive into your petty cash workflow and choose a solution that is best suited for your organization. Very nice. How can businesses prevent fraud or misuse of petty cash? See, the most important part of preventing fraud is that you should be able to control it as and when it happens. First of all, it should not happen. But in a real world, nothing is perfect. Even the vaccines work 70% times, right? So, what we need to do is that we need to have systems in our solution so that it can be prevented very fast. Actions can be taken very fast. So, for example, in a solution like Heba, what happens is that the moment you see that fraud is happening, you will block a person from doing transactions on our system just by a click of a button. You can block the person individually. You can block the entire group. You can block the entire organization. So that is one thing. On the infrastructure level, we have things like IP whitelisting, where we do not entertain traffic from suspicious IPs or spammy IPs or URLs. We have a very, very solid mechanism of authentication through tokenization. And of course, we also have deep tracking in terms of the device ID checks that are recommended by Google and Apple Play stores as a part of their security guidelines. Yes, Sayonara 7. What are some of the best practices for managing petty cash that business should follow? I think I already touched upon it. DK Thakur. How can businesses determine the appropriate amount of money to keep in their petty cash fund? Very, very beautiful question. The See, See, DK Thakur, the most important part in any organization is that it should be data driven. So once you have an automated system in your organization managing the petty cash workflow, it is very important to reflect upon the past 2 to 3 months data. Now, when you migrate from a no solution to a very highly automated solution like Heva, you will initially see some trading issues. And once you see this, you will see very accurately the data in terms of your petty cash spending. So, suppose on month one, your petty cash spending was 50,000 rupees. In month two, it was 40,000 rupees. And in month three, it was 20,000 rupees. We recommend a monthly average balance to all of you. You should keep that much amount of automated payouts for petty cash management through our systems. So it has to be completely data driven. You have to go into your dig deep into your data, organizational data, and then decide. We also enable you through the system, but in case you already have an existing system or you also have a manual system, please reflect on data to take the action. How do you solve petty cash problems? I think I have touched some of them already. And deep diving into these petty cash problems is very important to enable revenue leakage, kind of put a control on the revenue leakage that is happening. Okay, Sneha. An interesting question from Sneha is, how often should businesses reconcile their petty cash fund? I think you should do it on weekly basis. And if you have a solution like Heva, it is actually happening on real time basis, because the moment you do a transaction from Heva, we do a reconciliation of all your transaction and it is available for you to kind of review. But yes, a weekly reconciliation is a brilliant idea to keep track in terms of your expenses. A very interesting question by Dia Bhatnagar. Would it be easy to shift a software management system like Heva when we have used the traditional methods for so long? Very, very nice question. It is old habits die hard. So it is, or you will always see an inertia in terms of teams to migrate to a highly automated system like Heva. But the beauty of Heva is that as soon as you download it, the onboarding is so simple, so intuitive, that immediately you kind of get friendly. And we've seen users who just who haven't made a single call to us in terms of any help or handholding that they need from Heva, and they immediately are able to use it, have been using it. So the idea here is that in case the user experience of a software solution like Heva is super simple, it is super aligned to existing system. For example, we believe that we are very, very close to, our experience is very close to the way communication apps give, like WhatsApp, Telegram, WeChat kind of interface we've tried to give, so that it's not very new to the users and they are kind of already used to on how to use it. So yes, user experience is a very, very important piece that is needed for people to kind of ensure stickiness to a product or migration to a product like Heva. Oh, very nice. Somebody has a very nice name, Saval. So Saval is asking a Saval that what are the USPs of Heva? So the USP of Heva, number one is payment and reconciliation on a single platform at a click of a button. It does not exist right now in the market. Second, we are the first ones to provide petty cash on UPI. Third, one touch statement generation. Just at a click of button, the entire reconciliation is available to everybody to use it or reconcile it with their existing accounting software. So these are the few USPs of Heva, and that enables you to kind of use it. We have a question from Anand. How the wallet can be loaded for the petty cash, like debit card, credit card, net banking, or UPI? Can the corporate credit card be used? Yes. We have the partnership with the payment gateways and our fintech API partners who are providing through which interface you can load the money using any of the instruments, whether it is UPI, net banking, or corporate credit cards. So there is an option of using that as well. We do not recommend loading your funds through a wallet. And however, in the petty cash scenario, primarily in the business petty cash scenario, we have the concept of virtual accounts, and we recommend all our users to use virtual accounts to load money, because it helps Heva to get plugged into the existing business models very, very beautifully. In businesses, generally, Anand, what happens is that there is an accounting team, there's an accounts team who are responsible for distribution of funds across their cost centers, and of course their vendors. And typically they have an intense corporate internet banking interface through which they have created beneficiaries, or they have to which they transfer funds on day-to-day basis for various needs. And hence, if petty cash becomes an element, an account there itself, it becomes extremely easy for them to load money for provide advance for their teams. And hence we recommend the virtual account method if you're using Heva. So uh, yes, that was our last question, and I'm happy. I hope I have been able to take up all your questions. Download Heva, use it a lot for your businesses. It solves all your petty cash problems. And in case you have any questions with respect to petty cash, how it is used in organizations, how you can make your processes very efficient, we are going to have a series of webinars in future as well around this topic. And we would love to hear from you. Please follow us on LinkedIn or Facebook, Instagram, any social media channel of your choice. And if nothing else works, do email us at havasupport@nova.ai, and we will be happy to answer your queries on petty cash that are applicable to your businesses. Our product is business agnostic, whether you are a restaurant, whether you are a hospital, whether you are a food business, logistics business, Heva can be used anywhere. And however, still, if you feel there are certain business specific needs, do reach out to us in any way that you can, and we'd love to answer your queries and customize your a product to fit your needs. So, signing off, this is Shilpa Mahana Bhatnagar, founder Heva, and I'll just end with this note that petty cash payments are not so petty. छोटे खर्चों में भी बहुत सारा काम हमें करना पड़ता है. And please download Heva. Thank you for joining us on this webinar. Until next time, signing off, Shilpa Mahana Bhatnagar.